it happen on all the platforms. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. It's Sahira here logging in for our live Zill class Connect Q&A and Friday hangout session. I am coming straight from my daughter's school picnic. It was Friday. They had their spring picnic, and so all the families go and like eat lunch with their kiddos. And so I'm still in spring picnic gear, but I thought we would just hang out for a bit and chat about our favorite teeny tiny instrument. So as you log in, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your plans are for this weekend, and let me know what finger cymbals you will be playing today. I will admit, while the Saroyan Afghanis and brass are my go-to faves, I am playing today my very, very patinaed uh, Tuts, my King Tuts, also Saroyan. These are in brass. I love brass. I like the silver ones too, but brass is more my speed. I like the richness, the lower sounds. These are very similar to the Afghanis in brass, and my Afghanis have one elastic that really needs to be tightened, and so I've been defaulting to these days. But I'm curious, what are your favorite finger cymbals? Let me know. Those of you who know me know I am a die-hard Saroyan fan, and it doesn't mean that I don't have other cymbals. I do have some cymbals from turquoise. I did have a pair from Zildjian for a while, and I do have one pair from the Suhaila signatures that are really quite nice, I find, for doing musician style playing. And I use those mostly for that because they've got a lot of wiggle, even for being a two-slotted Zill. So yeah, curious what you're playing today. Jump into the chat and let me know. Howdy from Atlanta, Kadria. I have not seen you in a long time, other than your awesome posts within this group and within the Journey group, doing all of your cool heavy metal gigs. And I just love how you're always sharing the love of finger cymbals. I think like you're one of our best ambassadors, right? Because you're always sharing the love of finger cymbals with musicians who might not be familiar with these tiny cymbals, who might be more into like larger cymbals. So your Sabian thins. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check those out. I have actually never owned a pair of Sabian cymbals. So now what you've done is I'm gonna go out and buy a pair because I have to have them all. Like it's one of those things. Once you have a collection, when you find one you don't have, you're like, now I have to have it. Yeah. So in just a minute, we're going to do a little bit of a drill. Our drill today is going to be designed to help you be able to zill a pattern and dance at the same time, which is what we're always trying to do, right? Even when that pattern and your dance have nothing to do with each other, right? And this is where the rubber hits the road for a lot of people. I am teaching finger cymbals in my beginner class right now. We're doing a fairly intermediate level choreography. What makes it intermediate is the zills, not the choreography itself. But the zills are not super complicated in my book, but my book is not the same as most Zillers books, but it's very fast. And the what you're playing on the cymbals does not necessarily completely mimic what you're doing in your dance, which is the situation 9 times out of 10 when we're playing, right? You think about the gallop and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. It doesn't match any movement. We're not doing and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 when we're playing it. We're doing something totally different, right? And we're playing that gallop over the top of it to complement the music that we're playing with, right? Sometimes we do accents with our cymbals where we'll do a shimmy and we'll do 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4 so that it matches, but oftentimes we're not. And this is where it becomes like this, right? You're like patting your head and rubbing your belly, and it becomes really challenging for people. So the drill we are doing today is specific to helping you sort of remove one from the other so that no matter what you're trying to do, you are able to make the movements happen. Yeah. So I love it. Ooh, fantastic. Thank you for the link, Kadria. You're going to make it even easier for me to buy some. That's awesome. Bonnie, you have some new Saroyan looking for a good source for strong elastics. You know, that's a really good question. When I got my last set of Saroyans, and it was actually a couple of years ago now, I think that I bought my last new pair. They had a new elastic supplier because Virginia said that the elastic they had been getting, like just didn't exist anymore. And so they had to switch to a new elastic supplier. And those elastics were the thickest elastics I have ever tried to sew into my finger cymbals. And it was actually quite challenging. I don't like them. And so I would always go to Joann Fabrics, but I don't know if this is, I bet it's nationwide. I know the Joann Fabrics are closing down here in Texas. Sad face. So I'm going to have to source it online most likely. So I don't have a place yet that I have found good elastics. It might be worth reaching out to Saroyan and ask them because the elastics that they are currently supplying with their finger cymbals are like super thick and very strong, challenging to sew. And I found for me, they felt a little too thick on my fingers, if that makes sense. So So yeah, if anyone has a good source for elastic, please let us know because it might be a little more challenging now, especially if you were a Joann's Elastics purchaser. So we're going to dive into this challenging drill. It's a very simple concept, but might be challenging to execute. And I always say it's one of these non-sexy drills that are going to make you a better ziller, but it's not necessarily like loads of fun to do. Before we dive in, I have one other question that was brought up to me. This was brought up to me by one of my students because they got their brand new finger cymbals and they were like, what do I do with these elastics? And actually, I have two different methods here that I'm going to show you. And I do have some good videos on YouTube. If you look up sewing elastics, Sahira belly dances, you'll find I have two different methods. One that I did years ago where I would sew the elastics on the inside part of the zill, and what I am doing now, and I'll show you what I'm doing now, and then I'm showing you another thing that I did that I don't like, just in case I can save you some grief. So actually, no, this is what I used to, no, this is what I'm doing now. So let me show you, let me look at my camera here so I can make sure you're seeing what I am seeing. When I sew my elastics, and these probably need some new elastics, I like to put the tab on the top just because I do a lot of multi-tonal zilling, a lot of acapella zilling. I like to use lots of sounds. And I find that this tab, when it lives on the underside of my zill, can get in the way of some of the sounds. So if you like to use multi-tonal zilling, especially if you're doing like ticks and things where one cymbal will fit inside the other cymbal, I encourage you to give it a try. Put the tab, the sewn part of the elastic, on the top side of your zill. And if you don't like how it looks, you can always kind of shimmy it over to the side so it lays like closer to the bell of the zill. And I find it's a lot easier to sew than trying to sew something on the inside of your cymbal as well. For a brief moment, I was sewing my elastics like this, where I would set them down flat on top of each other. I don't know if you can see this. This one has a little bit of a tab. I would set them down. This is a better example. I would set them down flat on top of each other. And so these are overlapped. And then I would sew them like in a little square where they set down flat on top of each other. This looks really nice. I will never do this again because you spend all this time putting them flat, sewing it, and then you put it on and you're like, oh, it's a little bit too loose. And you can't just cinch it up and sew it tighter. You have to cut it off and start over. I do not recommend this method of sewing the elastic. I'm curious if you have a way that you sew your elastic that you're like, ooh, this totally works for me. Post it in the chat. I'm kind of curious if someone has a way that works that's different than what I've done. But I do really like right now all my cymbals when I sew new elastics on, which is rare. But when I have to replace them, I put the tab on the top. Patricia, so good to see you. You had to go to a garage sale in Laughlin to get more buttons. I love it because you can't get them at Joann's anymore, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, I see Kadria's questions. Recommended for sewing one whole sagat. Ooh, yeah. Let me see if I can. As I'm talking about this, I'm going to grab my set. They are under here under my couch. Hold on, let me grab it. I have a big box with all of my other zills that I'm not currently taking to my class for my students. Because I have a big bag that goes with me to my class for my students. And I have a couple sets of one hold sagat or the big tura from Egypt. And let me show you. Let's see. Those are my altages. Here we go. This is the way I have currently sewn these, and I am a fan. I do use flat elastic on my single hold sagat, finger cymbals, zills, tura, right? I do use flat elastic because I like the control that it gives me. This was an idea, and I can't remember who told me this now, but if you look on the inside, I have a teeny tiny piece of toothpick, which helps prevent the elastic from slipping back out. I know I got these from Kareem Nagy years ago, and I believe he had told me to put like a bead or something here that would prevent the elastic from pulling back through. I tried that a couple times. I feel like maybe my bead was not the right kind of bead, and sewing the bead in there was like a little difficult, and so it never quite worked for me, and then like easily came undone. So this is what I have done. Now, I'll admit I don't use these finger cymbals very often because they're way too big and they eat my hand completely. But I do really like this concept. So I put that little, that little piece of toothpick in there to give it sort of a little bit more solidness there. It's a little bit more stable. And I find that it wiggles a little bit less, which I like, right? I don't do a lot of musician style playing where I need a whole lot of wiggle. So I like to reduce the wiggle just a little bit so I feel a little bit more confident playing them. So yeah, if anyone else has some single hold tura or sagat that they use, and you have a different way. No, I don't glue the toothpick. It's really just inside, like, let me see if I can show you even closer. It is in between where I sew the elastic and the bell of the zill. So it's not actually attached at all. It's just in there. And when I pull it taut, it ends up flat against the inside of the bell. So it's not glued or anything. Were I to cut this elastic off, it would fall right off and I'd have to put it in again. So I remember I placed it there and then pinched the elastic above it and sewed. That's how I made these work. And it's a long enough piece of toothpick that it doesn't easily slide out or fall out because it's kind of held in by the sides of the bell, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I found worked for me. You could try the bead idea as well. I know that's what Kareem Nagy was doing back in the day when I got these, which was a long time ago. So Patricia, you have a button fetish. Do you have any button zills? Have you made button finger symbols? I know we did that a couple of years ago with Dawn Devine during the Zill challenge, which it is April. And those of you who are keeping track, you know that the Zill challenge always happens in May, right? Zill challenge always happens in May, right? So get ready. It's coming. It's coming. My team and I literally met about it this past week, and we are prepping the 2025 Zill challenge. So keep an eye out, thezillchallenge.com, thezillchallenge.com. It'll go live mid-May for registration. So anyway, let's get to our Zill class here. This is what we're going to do. It might seem deceptively easy. You might think, this is really stupid, Zahira. Why are we going to do this? But I'm going to tell you, this is one of those that gets me every once in a while. I'm like, why is this so hard? And especially if you're a ziller that finds it a little bit challenging to play the cymbals when they are not matching your body, you might really find this to be more challenging than it seems it should be. We are going to stick with really simple things with the body. We're going to do like a little step touch is my favorite, right? A little step touch here, or you can do you can make it more belly dancey and do a little hip lift. And then maybe we'll do a smooth movement at one point. But if you move to a smooth movement, I'm going to encourage you to keep it rhythmic. So it's not just floating over the beat, but maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to be very rhythmic because we're aiming to make sure our dance has the rhythm and our fingers have the rhythm, but the rhythms are going to be different. So for this exercise, we are going to focus on one concept. We are going to keep the body steady and change the speed or the pattern in the finger cymbals. Those of you inside my membership, inside the journey or the finger cymbal revolution, you know we've done a drill like this where we take it both directions, where the finger cymbals stay the same and the body changes, or the body changes, or the finger cymbals change and the body stays the same. That's what we're going to do today. Body stays the same, finger cymbals change. So we're going to get a rhythm going, and I'll tell you what that is in just a second with the step touch. It'll be like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Finger cymbals first are just going to play whole notes, which means 1, 4, 1, 4. Yeah, then we're going to keep the body the same, and we're going to double time those zills. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah, we're going to double time those zills. Body stays the same. Then we're going to double time those zills 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah. Or did I double time? Yeah, I think I might have skipped 1 and 3. But we're going to keep double timing. So this is 1 and 2 and 8th notes. And then we go to 16th notes, double time. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And because we can, we'll go to gallop after that, which is just 16th notes with that pause. Yeah. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. But the beat in our body stays the same. It does not change. And then we'll move to that smoother movement, right? Maybe I'll do inner hip rolls this way so you can see it very easily since I have my spring picnic summer dress on, yeah? Or I guess if it's a spring picnic, it's a spring dress. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll do whole notes, yeah, 1 and 4. We'll do half notes, 1, 2, 1, 2, which I may have missed that last time. Then we'll do quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighths, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 16ths, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And then we'll go to gallop because that's a familiar pattern that we use all the time in our finger cymbal playing. Does that make sense? What I charge you and invite you to take advantage of is like paying attention. Is your body still on that beat, right? Or has your body sped up because the finger cymbals have sped up? right? That's kind of what we're looking at. Can we maintain one rhythm with the body while the finger symbols change? Yeah. So I'm going to turn on some music and I'm going to give it a second. I've tested the audio, but I feel like it's such a moving target. So I'm putting on some Miss Thea. She's my favorite go-to because Facebook will never shut me down because of Miss Thea. And so that's pretty awesome. This is Miss Thea's Hourglass. You can find her on, now I'm forgetting, Bandcamp. It's called Bandcamp. At Miss Thea, Thea. She's awesome. She just released a new album, which I haven't gotten yet. I need to get. So let me know, please, in the chat. Can you hear the music and me? Actually, what's more important than my voice are the cymbals, right? So if I play, can you hear both? Because I'd like you to be able to hear both. Yeah, so let me know. That's our gallop. So the body will be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do this. If you're like, that's easy, I got that, and you'd like to challenge yourself, ways to take up the ante, right? So maybe you're going to add arms, make them beautiful, right? Don't let them get weird just because you've got zills on. We're going to keep the arms beautiful, so you can up the ante that way. You can go right into more belly dancery movement. And if you want to get all crazy, you can change the sounds, right? Those of you in my membership, you know our 4 basic sounds and beyond. So you can take those sounds and alternate between basic, clack, tick, ring. Oh my gosh, you can make it harder all day long, yes? All right, you can hear everything. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and give this a try. I'm going to start our music over, make sure we're good here. Hello, Belly Dance and Blades. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't go live here often on YouTube, but I'm very excited to be here. They were sold out on the site. Yes, I know the ones you're talking about. Oh, yeah. Send a note to Soroyan. If you're looking for a particular set and they're sold out, send a note to Soroyan and say, when are you going to make these? And it might prompt them. They make small batches because it's a family-run business. And so, yeah, double check it. Hey, Sharon, good to see you. All right, starting the music over. We're going to try this drill. And you all are going to tell me how it's working for you. Yeah, all right, here we go. So get your movement going. If it says step touch, you can do that. Or maybe it's your inner hip roll. Maybe you're going to do arms, but we're going to start with whole notes. It's just 1 on the 1. That's it. Yeah. 5, 6. Here we go. It's 1. Then 1. 1. Let's try half notes. 1, 3. 1, 3. Do you want to move the arms while the zills are slow? 1, 3. Let's go to quarter notes. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm going to get creative with my arms. Keep that tempos the same in the body. Listen to the sound of your zills. Are they even on each side? Is it a nice, clean, clear ringing tone? Do you get too much clack or muffling going on in there? Listen to all that. Let's do a couple more rounds of this quarter notes. Now let's go to eighth notes. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Maybe I go to tick. Keep the hands and arms beautiful. Yeah. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more round of that. And we're going into 16th notes. We'll go on 4, 3, 2. Here we go. It's 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. This is fast. Keep your fingers really relaxed. Keep your zills fairly close together. There's no time to open your hands really wide. Try to keep it clean and clear, but fast, yeah? Nimble fingers. Really relax those hands. Watch out for tension. Watch out for individual fingers sticking out. That'll make it really hard. Keep breathing. Breathing is key. 4 more. Let's go to our gallop. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. This one should feel familiar, yeah? Have you upped the ante? Have you added some arms? My final frontier of layering possibilities is talking. Now I challenge you to have a conversation while you do this. That's the hard part. Let's take it back to those 16th notes. Keep breathing. Let's go back to 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to quarters. Back to halves. 1. Back to whole notes. Oops, I missed one. 2, 3, 4. Let's do 2 more like that. And then a Zill applause. Yes. Hey. How did that go? How did that go? Fabulous dancer. It's very hard to type with your finger symbols on, so I'll give you a second. Let me know how that went. Those of you in my membership, I know you are familiar with these kinds of drills that are like seemingly simple, but sometimes will allow you to realize where you have spots in your zilling that trip you up. We all have patterns, things we're really comfortable doing, like maybe the gallop, but you're really comfortable doing it when your hips are, also moving at 16th note speed. Or maybe you're, really good at that bellady, but only when the body's moving in a certain way. Or maybe you mostly like to play accents where it's really matching the body. This is where it came up because my students are learning a lot of combinations, and in parts, the combination completely matches the finger symbols. For example, right? I'm stepping 2, 3, totally matches. And they're like, I can totally do that. I said, makes sense, right? Because it's matching the body. It's not always that we play like that, but we certainly can play like that. But then when we're doing something like this, where my body's not really doing that, but the symbols are, that tends to be where we live in finger symbol world. And so the more you can get comfortable with this not matching this, right, the easier it will be to tackle new challenges. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me know. I'm going to check over here in the chat. Everybody's doing all right. Learned a lot about your zilling. Yeah, we all, it's a fun, I think, especially for those of us who've been playing for a while, right? We get really good at the stuff that we're good at. And sometimes we don't encounter the things that we're not good at, right? We're not challenged to find those, which is why I love studying with other teachers, because they'll have a different way, a different pattern, a different method by which they do things. And I'm like, oh, I would have never thought about it that way. And it kind of blows my mind. So I encourage you to go out and find someone who will challenge you, but who will give you the instruction you need to make sense of what it is that you're doing, and like challenges you in a way that it like feels good and not too frustrating, right? We say in the membership all the time, and we say this in the Zill challenge too, you have to embrace the suck, because when it's bad, when it sucks, it means you're getting better. Right? It means you have that opportunity to improve. When you can just walk in and do everything, it might feel really good, but you're not actually leveling up at all. So like seek out those opportunities to level up, which means there'll be moments when you're like, this is really hard and I'm not doing it right. And if you were able to do that whole drill, fantastic. Find ways to up the ante, find ways to challenge yourself. Like I mentioned, making the dancing more complicated, or changing up your sounds, or doing it to a faster song, right? All of those are great ways to challenge yourself. There should never be a moment where you're like, check, done, right? Because we're never done. We're never done with dancing. All right, my fabulous friends. This was super fun. Yes, me too, Patricia. And this is probably why you will be forever young. Like when I see you, and I will never give away your age, but like you are so vibrant and you're always learning and you're so sharp. And I think this is a sign for people who are willing to like challenge their brain and keep building their brain. This keeps us young, right? We keep building new neural synapses, and it staves off Alzheimer's, dementia. I just read a great study recently where they proved that dance will stave off dementia was something, I don't want to misquote it, but it was like 78% more than traditional exercise, which is good for your body. But this embodies not only the exercise portion, but the creativity and the timing, like timing what we're doing to music, and especially with these crazy things, right? You want to talk about building your brain. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for joining me to build your brain and for allowing me to build my brain with you, because I am a very firm believer in that. So I appreciate y'all so much. It was fun hanging out with you here live. We'll do it again sometime soon, but be on the lookout. The Zill Challenge will begin near the end of May. So at the beginning of May, you'll start to see promotions for it, thezillchallenge.com. It's 10 days of finger cymbal learning paired with an amazing community. You're going to learn a fantastic, fairly long a cappella Zill riff. We're going to then play with it to music. We're going to have parties with it. There's going to be games and an exclusive Facebook group, prizes. There are prizes. It's so much fun, y'all. So you'll definitely want to join thezillchallenge.com. Still has last year's information on it right now, but it will have the 2025 information on it soon. And if you just can't wait to get started and you're like, let's do it now, and you're a newer Ziller, please sign up for my Zill Star. It's a free course that you can access right now immediately. SahiraBellyDances.com/Zill Star, ZILLSTAR. And you can get that right away, put in your email, and it will go right into your inbox, and you'll be able to get a solid foundation so that when the Zill Challenge comes out, and it is a little challenging, thus the name, you'll be ready and raring to go. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a beautiful time. Keep on making the music, and I will see you all on the dance floor very soon. Take care. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here.